Welcome back to another episode. This is actually the first episode with a new name, Inner Thoughts. So welcome to the new and improved podcast. I'm Braden.
And I'm Caden.
And today we're going to be talking about the vaccine and whether we believe in it or not, I guess. So here, Caden, would you take the vaccine?
Would I take the vaccine? As long as we get to herd immunity, I'm not going to take the vaccine because I am at no risk right now. I mean, if I was at risk and I was older age, I'd probably take the vaccine just because I'm at risk. But I'm not at risk at this age.
Well, I don't know. I probably wouldn't take it. If I was made to take it, maybe. But I don't think I would take it because I don't see a point in taking it. I mean, we don't know what health concerns could be down the line.
Yeah, nobody knows the long-term effect of the vaccine.
Yeah, so I wouldn't take it right now just because it's not even FDA approved yet. So I wouldn't take it if I don't have to. So I just personally I don't think they're microchipping you or anything like these conspiracies are saying. I don't think that's the case. I think they're trying to do what's best for the people, but I don't really think that we need the vaccine.
How do you feel? Do you feel like the vaccine is safe?
Like I said, I don't really know if the vaccine's safe or not. Like I said, I haven't taken it, but I do know a lot of people are struggling with it after they take it with a bunch of side effects that could happen.
Yeah, I heard some people have had side effects, like short-term side effects.
And you have to stay after so long after you get the thing. And like I said, I don't know. How do we know that everybody who takes the vaccine doesn't get cancer in the next 2 years?
Right. You wouldn't know.
That's what I'm
right
saying.
Now.
So we don't even have all the facts of the side effects long term of what the vaccine could do to you.
Feel like
I don't know if it's safe or not.
Once I would know that the vaccine is healthy and fine to take, I would feel fine taking it.
It's kind of like the I don't know, any other shot, any other vaccine. All the other vaccines have side effects too, but majority of the time they're not going to have long-term effects that are that bad. So for me, I'm vaccinated. I've been vaccinated since I had to get vaccinated for school.
Also vaccinated. Everybody's been vaccinated mostly.
Yeah. So I'm vaccinated and I have no problem with that. But all of the vaccines that I've taken have been approved and proven
Tested
to be okay. So I mean, pushing a vaccine through as quick as it has been, I wouldn't take it. My grandma took it, and my someone else took it in my family. I don't remember who it was, but my grandma took it.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I feel like people with old age should take it, just because they are the ones that are at risk mostly, other than people with like health problems and they have certain other issues that can make them more vulnerable to the coronavirus, and so I think it would be good for them to take the vaccine, just so they can actually go out and do stuff.
But I don't think at all. Like, this is the next question, I guess, is should people be forced to take the vaccine? I don't think they should be forced to take it. Obviously, if you're at your work and they say you have to, then I understand that. But at the same time, like I said, we don't know the long-term effects or even all the short-term effects. But like some places are doing things like, if you can prove you've been vaccinated, you get this for free, or if you do this and you're vaccinated, you get this, or it's crazy to me. I don't think that should be
Delta Airlines, that the airplane company, I guess that's what you would call it, is they are making it mandatory that you have to have the vaccine if you want to go over country.
Yeah, but I don't know. I don't like. So for a long time, it's been people can choose to get vaccinated if they want. You can be a vaccinated person, or you can be an anti-vaxxer. And if you make fun of anti-vaxxers because they don't get vaccinated, that's mean. You can't do that. Or, well, you can, but it's not, like, people don't do it because it's rude. Well, how are you going to sit here and tell anti-vaxxers who don't want to get vaccinated, who don't believe in vaccines, that they have to get vaccinated? Or even, how are you going to give somebody else a leg up because they're not or because they're vaccinated and someone else isn't. That's not right. Like, if they don't want to get vaccinated, that should be their choice. And that comes back down to, like, even the most liberal standpoint that you can have on it, which would be my body, my choice, right? Yeah. Not to get into that conversation, but it should be that. Like, it is my body, my choice. If I want to get the vaccine, I should be allowed to get the vaccine. If I don't want to get the vaccine, I shouldn't be forced to take the vaccine.
I also feel like you shouldn't be penalized for not taking the vaccine, obviously.
Yeah.
Like I heard that some concerts are going to make it mandatory for you to show them that you have the vaccine. As long with Delta Airlines.
That's just, I don't know, that's too much.
For you to go to foreign countries, you have to have the vaccine, which it doesn't make sense, because if you're already at herd immunity and everybody's at herd immunity, even the foreign countries, then you should have no problem going.
Most people who have opened up and have acted like everything's fine, then it is fine. Yeah. Like who opened up? I think it was Mississippi, and was it Texas?
Texas opened.
Texas.
Up. Yeah.
They're fine right now. They're not in super dangerous territory. But then you look at states like New York, who have been closed down and are remaining closed down, who are far worse off than than Texas or Mississippi or even Florida. Like, it shouldn't. I don't know. It's not, when you get to like that part of it. On a non-biased standpoint, if you look at the states who are just opening up and being, just acting like everything's normal, they're doing far less worse, I guess, or they're better off than the states that are staying closed down. So I don't understand why are you gonna force this on people if obviously if we just act like
not only that, but obviously closing down has other side effects,
and I don't,
small businesses, as you can see, and the reason why Texas opened back up is because they wanted the small businesses to reopen, and they want the economy, at least in Texas, to start building itself back up again for a stronger economy.
Yeah, well,
and they removed the masks, mandatory masks.
Yeah.
And you can wear them if you want to, but it's not mandatory anymore.
I think that's, like, I don't know. If for a long time it's been masks don't help you, and then it was you have to wear a mask because they do help you, and then now they're wanting you to double mask because that helps you, and then after that they wanted you to triple mask. I don't get it. So, I mean, yeah, like you just showed me, some people are allergic to stuff in the vaccine. What are you gonna say to those people? Are they still gonna have to take it? Because, like, the flu shot, I got the flu shot. I'm never going to get the flu shot again because I had an allergic reaction to it.
Well, most people, usually what the flu does is it literally in simple terms, it gives you the virus so your immune system can fight it off.
That's what most, like, I think the COVID vaccine is doing the same thing, and that's what most vaccines do. But the thing is, when I first got my flu shot, first one I ever had, last one I've ever had, my eye swelled up real big. I was at Elijah's house. My eye swelled up real big. It was an allergic reaction to that shot, and I just.
If they make it mandatory to get the vaccine, I think that's just going to be crazy, because I don't have they ever made any other thing mandatory for you to take ever.
I don't know, but I mean, obviously for like certain public school, you have to be vaccinated for that. I think you have to take certain vaccines.
You have to get
what
is it? Is it your middle school shots? Is that what it is?
But I don't on a broader basis. If you're like just chilling, and you don't want to get the vaccine, I don't think you should be forced to. Or in that instance, unless you have to for your job. You know what I'm saying? Because for school you have to. And
actually, you can claim religion on some of the stuff, and they can't make you take it.
Yeah. I guess.
That is true, though.
Yeah. But like I said, I don't it's probably safe. I don't know for sure.
It's most likely safe.
I want to be safe about it. If you don't want to be safe about it, that's on you. I want to be safe about it, so I'm going to be. And and I won't take it until I either need to or until it's been proven to be okay. Also, I wouldn't get it, but should they force people to do it? I don't think so. Unless it comes down to, you work for me, I'm requiring all my employees to take it.
Honestly,
you take
the
it too.
only thing that I feel like it should be mandatory for you to get a vaccine is if you are around elderly. And if the elderly have the vaccine, then I guess it really doesn't matter. But I feel like you should still have a vaccine either way.
Yeah.
If you're around certain people that have health problems like that, I feel like you should have a vaccine, or just older people.
Yeah. So safety-wise, I don't know about the health conditions, but I also don't know about this. But I'm gonna go ahead and say it. Like I mentioned slightly earlier, I can almost guarantee they're not microchipping you. That's absurd. Usually when I hear a conspiracy theory, I hear something along the lines of, like, they'll tie a bunch of stuff together that makes sense. To say that they're putting a microchip in you to give you a vaccine, that's just kind of crazy to me. I don't think at all that that's what's happening, and I don't think that they would get by with it. I don't care who's doing it.
Yeah, I don't think that they could get by with it either, because eventually at some point in time, it would be so weird, because I feel like there'd be one person that is a little bit skeptical about this, and they would literally check it out for themselves, because you can actually scan microchips in your body. That's why dogs have them. So if you get lost, if the dog would get lost and they're found, they can scan the microchip and it brings up the address and everything like that.
I heard something about Bill Gates having, wanting to microchip people and funding the whole thing, and it was a big conspiracy. And if you believe that, then
I think it's okay. I think it's okay to talk about conspiracy theories, but obviously they're conspiracies for a reason. They're not true.
But you don't know if they're true or not.
Exactly.
That's why it's a theory.
You don't know if it's true. Obviously,
it's kind of
yes.
Like I said, Bill Gates. I don't necessarily agree with a lot of things Bill Gates does. I don't necessarily like Bill Gates, but I don't dislike Bill Gates. Bill Gates. I know of a lot of things Bill Gates has done that is a good thing. He seems like a nice person when I watch videos about him or see him do his thing. He seems like a nice person, but contrary to that, I don't there's a lot of things I don't line up with him on. And so speaking about chipping and the vaccine and everything, with everything currently going on, where do you think the country's gonna end up?
I don't know. I would hope
as non-political as we can be.
I would hope to believe that coronavirus. I would hope to believe that coronavirus will eventually end at some point in time, so we can actually move on, go on with life, and not just worry about this endless, never ending, whatever this is. This horrible thing that we're going through right now.
Yeah.
But I would feel like once that gets over, it would be a lot better and things would start to ease out. And I guess you really just have to look forward to that. But
on the spectrum of not just the coronavirus, but as a whole, as America, as what we were formed as, what we've been for the longest time, number one of the totem pole. Everybody's scared of us. We're number one. We're the best.
As less political as I can get this.
That standpoint, where do you see us ending up later on? Where do you think we're headed in that instance?
Well, I'm gonna make this not political, obviously. Well, as not political as possible.
It's obviously kind of political, but I'm just saying it's your opinion, and I'm gonna put my opinion in, and it's just gonna be what we think.
Well, I feel like our country, first of all, is getting a lot weak. They're just weaker.
Mm-hmm.
Everything is weaker. Our economy is really down. Well, because of coronavirus, but other than that, it's down either way. And jobs are down. Everything is down. Unemployment is up. And I feel like it would be better off as to drop these like, I don't know, I get sad arguments about things that don't really matter, and just move on and kind of um, grow as a nation altogether, and like learn from your mistakes, and not just continue and just keeping them running over and over and over again. I just think it would be a lot better.
I think that we need to go back and look and take a good look at what we did right to start with, and what made us the greatest nation in the world. And we need to look at that and remake it. Obviously, people aren't going to like it, but that's what I'm saying is now there's a fear worldwide, not worldwide, but countrywide, of, like our Second Amendment and our
First
like
Amendment.
which our Second Amendment, that's a fairly recent issue people are having with that.
Yeah.
Just recently, obviously, because school shootings have started happening not fairly recently.
Well, shootings in general, I
Yeah,
guess.
shootings in general have fairly recently started happening, but mass shootings. But like that's a fairly new thing, and we've went all the way since when 1776, is that correct? When the Constitution was written, we've went all the way from then with the Second Amendment, and we've been perfectly fine. And just now, that is starting to be an issue. So obviously, I mean, to me, it's like that's not the problem. The Second Amendment's not the problem. The right to bear arms is not the problem.
It's the freedom of speech. I feel like we get down this road of where people have their opinions, and people don't like other opinions that they don't want. And since they don't like the other opinions, they try to, instead of working it out with people, they try to cut it out and try to end the ideas that they do not like.
Yeah, so that gets back to like yeah. So on the other part of that, it's like I said, fairly recently, people have just started worrying about the Second Amendment.
Yeah.
With that now, like that started back in when was the Columbine thing that kind of kicked off all this stuff? That was like 1999.
It was 19 something. Obviously late.
It was something like that. That's kind of like what started all of that kind of thing. And so that was fairly recently, but even more recently, people have started worrying about their freedom of speech. And what do you think about the freedom of speech? Are you worried about that at all?
I'm worried about the issues that people have with freedom of speech. I'm not worried about my freedom of speech as in like they're gonna take it away. I'm more worried about what is gonna happen and what is the news going to elaborate on freedom of speech and how they are going to basically manipulate on both sides, really.
Yeah, everybody does it. And I was just thinking about this the other day, is I don't like arguing with people about this specific topic, but when people flame CNN for being super biased, well, on the contrary, Fox News is also super biased. Like, it goes both ways, and like I would argue with someone about them saying CNN just as much as I would argue with someone saying Fox News is super biased. Both of them are. Every news source is biased, and I think that's the problem that America's having right now. Is that where we are getting our news from, and what we are supposed to find as validation or a valid news source.
I feel like the problem that America is having right now is that right now what's happening is in news channels, both sides, that they're picking and choosing what they want people to hear and what freedom of speech that they want people to hear. Stories.
When I do my research, no matter where I hear it from, I'll hear something from CNN, and you know what I do? I automatically look it up myself, look at a bunch of articles, read about it, watch about it in every aspect. From both sides, from both biased sides to the unbiased sides. I do all of my research like that to see what that story actually is, so that I'm not super biased about it on one side. Same if I hear it from Fox. I do the same thing for that, because like I said, my fear about America is that the news channels that we are supposed to be getting our news from,
Accurate news
our
from.
accurate news from, is being kind of lean one
Twisted.
way. Twisted in a way to make us like scared.
It's twisted
or
towards
anything.
the sides that they want it to be.
Yeah, so like
towards.
for Fox News, like they want Republicans to look the best. They want Donald Trump to look the best. They want the Republican candidates to look the best. They want
the Republican
Republican
Party.
viewpoint
The Republican
to look
Party
the best.
to look
yeah.
good.
Yeah, and so they twist everything right. Well, same with CNN, MSNBC. They twist it left because they want a leftist perspective, and they want that to be pushed through, and it happens on both sides. My fear is that we're getting to a point where we don't have accurate news anymore. We don't. We have left news, we have right wing news, and that's it. We don't have accurate news to state off of.
I think, okay, so on to the next question. Do you think the Constitution is in danger?
Well, yeah, that's kind of where the First or Second Amendment comes in, and I'm not as worried about the Second Amendment as I am the First.
I feel like the First Amendment is a really big part of this country. Like, this is what...
It's what shaped America.
Not only is what they wanted to get away from in Britain where they were at, is because they didn't have freedom of speech, and that if you said anything out, that you would go to jail and get killed, which is basically what they are kind of twisting, is what they want.
Now it's kind of leaning towards, you can't say this, you can't say that. Well,
You
this
have
is
to say
hate
a
speech.
certain
That's
thing.
hate speech. In America, there's no such thing as hate speech. In America, okay. Let me clear this up. In America, you can say things that are hateful. You can say things that are mean. You can say speech that sounds hateful. But as far as hate speech goes, as defined in other countries like Canada and Germany, where you can get imprisoned for saying certain things, I don't think that's a thing in America because of the freedom of speech. Because other countries don't have that. I can walk around and say whatever I want and not be criticized.
What you say
or
might be
for
frowned
it.
upon, you can still say
Yeah,
whatever
I'm allowed.
you want.
The thing about America is I'm supposed to be able to have my own opinion, and nowadays it seems like if you have your own opinion, there's a problem.
And it's against the other person. There's a huge problem.
And once again, it happens on both sides.
Yeah.
And I think it's a problem to start saying, well, if you say this, or if you say that, or if you act like this, or if you act like that, then I think that you should have penalties. You should be penalized. No, I don't think so, because America was built on opinions. If we didn't have difference of opinions in America,
Then we would still be with Great Britain.
Yeah, we wouldn't be America. That's what started the civil rights movement. That's what started the women's suffrage movement.
It's what started everything.
Is the difference of opinion. That's what started this stuff. That's what started all of.
If they were to get rid of freedom of speech, you would have no say in anything. If you spoke out, you'd be done for. Like, there would be no movement that you could create because people would be too scared to step with you and go to jail or get killed.
And I don't think that's right. I think that since 1776 or whenever the Declaration of Independence or the Constitution was written, whatever, since then we have been fine. We have been perfectly fine since then. And now it seems to be that we want to go back to what we came from. And I don't, like, my fear, like I said, is the freedom of speech more than is the Second Amendment. But obviously, both of them are under attack. Both of them are huge controversial issues. But the First Amendment is the one I worry the most about, because if you can't have your freedom of speech, then we're not America. We don't have opinions.
America was shaped on the freedom of speech.
It seems like where we want to go is us telling people you're allowed to have an opinion as long as it's shaped to our views.
Yeah. And the last question or we might go off and ask another question, but where will we be in 20 years? Where do you think the country is going to be in 20 years? Or just where you will be in 20 years?
Yeah. Well,
Where you see yourself.
I think that personally, and as a country, no one, like, I'm not blaming certain people, but I think as a country, we are headed off the rails, and I'm not saying there's no hope. We can fix it. This kind of thing's happened before. We can fix it. We definitely can. But I think that people need to be more mindful of the fact that America's vulnerable right now. America's at a weak point right now compared to other countries. And we need to notice that so we can start rebuilding, because for as long as it's been, America is number one, and it's starting to turn and starting to seem like America's not. And that's fearsome that should bring fear upon the people in America, American citizens, the people leading America, and people who rely on America as their allies. It should bring fear upon people and attention to America, because like I said, America's at a weak point right now.
It also makes you think like that they need some assistance, like they need some help, because you can start to see the cracks in this nation that we have built up just because of the issues that is happening. Just recently as well, as you said, the First and Second Amendment are just recently starting to get attacked because people. So honestly, what's happening is everybody starts labeling everything as hate speech, and then you're not going to be able to say anything, because since it's considered as hate speech to everyone, and whoever considers that as hate speech, then you will not be able to talk, which is why it's such a issue about the freedom of speech.
And on the freedom of speech thing, it's not like I'm saying that you should be allowed to say whatever you want, because obviously there's certain things like a call to action. If I were to tell you to go kill Elijah, I should be penalized for that because I called you to do that.
Well, yeah.
And like that's what Donald Trump was under a lot of fire for at the end of his thing, was a call to action of the rioters at the Capitol building. That's what's illegal in America. That should stay. As far as other things that shouldn't be said, I think there's a level of decency we need to have as people, to where, no, I shouldn't say certain things. There's certain things I shouldn't say. I shouldn't make fun of people. I shouldn't do that. I shouldn't do this. But am I allowed to? Of course I am, because it's America. I'm allowed to be myself, and I'm allowed to do that. And I should be allowed to do that.
I also feel like a thing
that's why we're a melting pot.
Another thing that we need to learn is to accept the differences and stop labeling people that don't agree with you as bad people.
Yeah.
You accept your differences and you go on with life.
Yeah.
Okay. It's really, really a good idea to start doing that again.
Yeah. I posted on Facebook a while ago, and I said, Democrats are not the problem. Republicans are not the problem. The problem in America today is the fact, or the lack of ability to have
tolerance. It's the lack of tolerance.
It's the lack of the lack of maturity, and the lack of the ability to have a conversation to reach an agreement between both sides. Nobody wants to do that. Republicans want to believe what they believe, and they want to do it exactly how they want to do it, and they don't want to sit down, and they don't want to talk. Democrats want to do it how they want to do it. They want to do what they want. They don't want to sit down and talk. And neither of them want to sit down together and talk about what we can do as a nation together, as two parties, etc., how we can build the nation back together and work together to do it. Nobody wants to do that. There's either the Republican way or the Democrat way. Those are the only two ways, and there's no in between. I think that's one of
the pieces that is missing in the country right now, is that we can't express, and like I feel like if we were to express both sides and come together, we would have some agreements and some disagreements, and I feel like it would really. It's kind of like right now the world kind of feels divided. It's like split, like it's half and half right now, And I feel like if you would have these conversations and like talk to each other as normal human beings and not just seeing someone as like this is the bad side or this is the good side and stuff like that. You should just talk to them, see if you like them as a person, get to know the differences, explain your differences and have them explain their differences and just learn to agree to disagree. If you do.
Yeah, my mom used to tell me when I was little. She used to, I used to love to argue about everything under the sun. I did. My mom used to tell me when I was little, pick and choose. That's what she used to say. I'd try to start an argument. She'd look at me and say, pick and choose. Basically, what that means is this an argument worth having? Do you want to have this argument right now? Is this going to benefit you in any way? If you have this argument and this disagreement between us two right now, is it going to benefit you? Are you going to sleep better tonight knowing that you argued with someone who didn't agree with you? Are you going to sleep better? And I think that a lot of people just get caught up in the fact that they believe so strongly in their beliefs that they have to push it on everybody else. No. That's why the First Amendment exists, because we are allowed to believe what we want. We're allowed to have our own opinions, and we're allowed to say what we want to say. That's what shapes us as America. That's why people love coming to America, is because you can be who you are, you can believe what you want, and you can do what you need to that shapes you as a person. And to tell someone else that they can't do that, or to force your beliefs on someone else, is going back to why America left where
in the
it
first
was.
place.
Why America was created in the first place. Why the Constitution was created in the first place. Because people wanted to get away from not being able to believe what they want. People wanted to get away from not being able to say what they want. People wanted to get away from not being able to have a voice or an opinion in the country. And it seems like as
they wanted to get away from everything and just be able to choose what you want to do in life.
And it seems like as the further we move as a country, the closer we get back. Like it seems like the further we move on and progress as a country,
it
the
feels
more
like
we're stepping
history
back.
is repeating itself.
It's more that we're stepping back, and that's scary, because if history is repeating itself, then the future's not going to look that good.
No.
And so where will we be? It's hard to say.
Well, if it does repeat itself, we'd probably be in a really, really bad spot right now.
Yeah, and so where will we be? I don't know. If we don't get back on track, it's not going to be a good place. So, like I said before, America's at a weak point right now. It's vulnerable, and it's obvious, and we need to fix it. We need to build it back up, and if we don't do it soon, then
it's gonna end up in a bad spot.
It's gonna end up the way it was before, and then we're gonna have to divide again. And people blamed all the division on Donald Trump before, and I don't think the division was his fault, and there's still a lot of division now, and I don't think it's Joe Biden's fault.
I think the division is
among.
It's all like it's everything really. It's everybody and everything. Like news channels would divide people,
and it's getting worse.
It's getting worse and worse because you're getting farther and farther away from seeing people as people and humans, and just seeing people as like a bad thing and a bad side.
Yeah. So when I walk down the street, and somebody of the opposite standpoint of me. So when a Democrat bumps into a Republican on the street, they're automatically like, I don't like that person. Or when a Republican or a Democrat is watching YouTube and then they come across Fox News, CNN, or a Democrat talking or a Republican talking, they're automatically turned off if it's the opposing viewpoint, and they don't want to watch it. They don't care. They don't want anything to do with it because it opposes them. And they're automatically like, they shouldn't be able to do that. This is bad. That they're a bad person. Well, most cases is that's not the case. I know plenty of people who don't agree with me who are great people. We just don't talk about our differences. And it's the same vice versa. I mean, they know me. I think I'm a good kid. I think I'm a good person. I think people like being around me. People who agree and disagree with me. And I think those relationships are the kinds that we need to start building and influencing and pushing on America is the ones that we can disagree, but hey, I still love you. We can disagree, but you're all right. You know, instead of we disagree, oh, you must be the offspring of Satan himself, you know.
Yeah.
But anyway, unless you have anything to add to that, I think that's going to be the end of this one. This was a relatively short one, this podcast. Sorry we haven't really been on track with uploading, you know, but
we're just trying to get back on the swing.
A lot of things are going on. I just moved away. Been doing that. Caden has other activities he has to deal with, so it's kind of hard fitting it in the schedule, I guess. So, but
we're trying.
But we're here and we're doing it now, and every time we get the opportunity, we're gonna be back. Hopefully weekly again, and yeah, we're here with a new name, and it just the new name symbolizes the new year and the new us, the new podcast.
Yeah, and don't forget to leave a like and subscribe. And to Inner Thoughts.
Yeah, and if you have any thoughts of what we should talk about next or what we should do next, leave them down below in the comments section, and that's really all we got for you. Thank you for tuning in.
Adios.